stand or just?
Just mic.
Okay.
She's got that. Oh, let's get. I didn't get that one changed.
Oh, I turned it off. You pushed the button to turn it back on. Sorry.
It's not that hard. Together. Ajyantimirandasya Jnana Salakaya Chaksuram Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah Yam Pravajaktamanapetamapeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virakatarvajuhava Putreti Tammayataya Taravo Banedo Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktya Vinay Aparadha Lakshay Tyaktasya Kamadi Taranga Madhye Kripamayi Tvam Sharanam Prapadyam Prende Namaste Charanarvindam Tavaivasmi Najivami Tambina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charanantike. First I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astotra Sat Shri Srimati Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astotra Sat Shri Srimati Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And also to the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vedant Vaman Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami, Srila Bhakti, to our Param Gurudev, my mind's elsewhere today. To our Param Gurudev, Srila I'm going crazy today. Today's the deadline for the book. My God. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and to all his divine associates. So today we are at Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Mutt in Koladweep. Although we're already in Koladweep, we are going to go around about to get back to Koladweep. First, here we are at Srila Gurudev Samadhi in Koladweep at our Keshavji Gaudiya Mutt. We are offering our obeisances, circumambulating, rolling the dust, and taking that dust on our head, eyelids, tongue, and heart, and praying to Gurudev for a successful parikrama. Successful means that we come out of Radha Dasyam. Then, taking Gurudev and all of our acharyas with us, we are on our way to, because we didn't go yesterday, we are running at the speed of light to Majidweep. You don't want to go to Majidweep, Prasanti? It's good. I mean, Namisharanya is there. Did you know that? Where they spoke the Bhagavatam.
Nothing will.
What?
Everyone wants to go to Namisharanya.
Yeah.
And hear the Bhagavatam.
And hear the whole Bhagavatam. Be with Vyasadeva in just 5 minutes.
Isn't that
You
where?
do the whole thing.
Do you mean that's Vrindavan Das Thakur's house?
No, Vyasadeva.
Oh, right, like the old one,
Huh?
not the new one.
And also Panchavani's here.
We're leaving college.
Huh? And then we're coming right
Some of
back.
us are already
We're
gone.
coming
You
back.
better catch a rickshaw. We're already gone.
But we're coming back to Koladweep.
Electric rickshaw.
We're coming back to Koladweep in 10 minutes.
Oh.
And then we're going to call on my senior godbrother, Chidananda Prabhu, to glorify Koladweep before we begin our parikrama.
Comments.
Yes.
Mike is there.
Run.
So here we are in Majidweep. We already made it because it's on the same side of the Ganges. Koladweep, Godudweep, and Majidweep are on the same side of the Ganges as Mayapur Antadweep.
It doesn't matter. At the speed of light, we could run across water.
We certainly could.
Wow.
So you know what happened? You know all these sages that came out of Brahma's body and different parts of his body? Like Achari, Angata, Palaha, Kratu, Palasta, and Vishista. They all approached Brahma and talked with him about who? Gauda Hari, who would appear in the coming Kali Yuga. They discussed the method of bhajan. You know, what's so amazing is that, you know, you read in the Bhagavatam about how these great sages did these pastimes and with Brahma and other sages in the creation of the universe. And then you see how they're all talking about Gaura Hari.
Probably a closed door conversation.
Huh?
I'm sure they didn't invite the whole world. It's probably a private convo.
Exactly. They discussed the method of bhajan, how he would distribute to everyone, even to the dog eaters, praying that was difficult for the demigods to get. Then they asked Brahma to tell them something about praying. Brahma told them to go to Navadvip Dham. All those Achari, Pulaha, Kratu, we all went to Navadvip. Because as we discussed the other day, all the holy places are in Navadvip. So this tells us how.
Didn't they all get homes in Devapali?
Yeah, let's hear about that. There they should chant Sri Gaura Hari's names and remember his pastimes. Haribol Abhimanyu Prabhu. He said that by this process the Dham would itself awaken Gauda Prem in their hearts. Those who have love and affection for Navadvip Dham, where offenses are not considered, can easily enter Braj. So hearing the glory and praying for Gursundar's mercy, they remained here, loudly chanting. Here means Majidweep, where we are now. Loudly chanting. They came on the order of Brahma, and then they built these huts here. They started glorifying Lord Chaitanya's name, fame, form, pastimes. They stopped eating, they stopped drinking, sleeping. One day at noon, while chanting the name of Gaura, the extraordinarily attractive Gaura appeared to them together with his associates. The sages glorified and completely surrendered to him, who was resplendent with the sentiments and luster of Sri Radha. He ordered them to give up all desires fulfilled through Gyan, Karma, Tapasya, and Yoga, and only desire to serve Krishna, devoting themselves exclusively to chanting Krishna's names. After some time, he said, I, along with all my associates, will manifest my pastimes in Navadvip, and you will be able to witness them. After he disappeared from their vision, the 7 sages remained here in Saptarishi, that means 7 sages, Bhajan Stala, and eagerly engaged in worshipping Sri Gaur during Mahaprabhu's manifest pastimes. He and his associates would come here performing kirtan. Beautiful. Now let's run to welcome. Welcome to Lalita Saki.
So this means that Navadvip is actually an internal dham, and by doing bhajan, someone like them could have darshan of Gaurahari even long ago.
Of course, long ago, before he came. Navadvip is an eternal dham. Internal, eternal, everything.
So then he invited them back for the manifest portion of his pastimes if they wanted to see that.
Sure. Now we're running to Naimisharanya, where we're going to the temple of Hamsavadana Shiva, where the deity of Lord Shiva, guess what, is riding on the swan of Lord Brahma. And here we are, in front of this hut, Bhajan Kuti, temple. Let's roll in the dust. Hare Krishna, Advaita Prabhu. Let's roll in the dust, take the dust in our head, eyelids, hearts, and tongue. Tongue. So,
I got it.
the supremely sacred Gomati River flows south of Saptarishi Tila. The groves bordering the Gomati are called Naimisharanya. Here, guess what happened here? 88,000 sages heard narrations about Sri Gaurasundar. Can you imagine those same 88,000? After hearing from, who did they hear from? Sutta Goswami.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're hearing about Lord Gaurasundar from the mouth of who? The same Sutta Goswami. Amazing. At that time, Panchanana Mahadev, Panchanana.
Anana means face.
Yeah, and Pancha.
And ananas means pineapple.
So he came on his bull carrier, Vahana, and rode on a swan to Hamsavahana. Then another place that's present here is Brahma Puskar, which is now called Vaman Pokar. In Satyuga, a Brahmin named Jivanadas came here while visiting all the holy places and took up residence here. His ardent desire to take bath in Puskar Tirtha made him extremely restless. As he slept that night, he heard a divine voice in his dream, "Remain here for some time, chanting the holy name of the Lord, and your desire will be fulfilled." So he made a hut, performed bhajan. Tirtharaj Puskar himself, the personality of the Tirtha, appeared to him in the form of a beautiful pond and told him to take bath. So upon doing so, the Brahmana was blessed with a divine vision in which he directly saw Puskar, who instructed him, whatever benefit a person attains by taking 100 baths in all the holy places, he attains by residing in Navadvip Dham for only one night.
And we're staying for a week.
One night.
Therefore, that's right, we're staying for a week. Therefore, I will also reside here eternally, along with all the holy places. So Puskar personally told this Brahmana that he's going to remain here. This holy place will remain here. So Naimisharanya is here.
Should I push the table up a little?
No, it doesn't go forward.
Won't move, really. Thank you. Therefore, I'll also reside here eternally, along with all the holy places of the earth. In the upcoming Kali Yuga, Sri Gaura Hari will manifest in Navadvip Dham and distribute Krishna Prem. At that time, you will take birth and have the good fortune of seeing his pastimes.
Does it work easier when you do like this?
I can't figure it out.
It works easier.
It does, it's very good. Yeah, let's do
This
that.
is pointing at you, yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
It's not gonna fall.
So,
On
Champak,
your knees.
Champak, this is Braj Mohan Prabhu. Braj Mohan, this is Champak.
Yeah,
She's been,
we spoke yesterday.
you did,
Yes.
fine, okay. She's been running after you for a week. Great. So here we are at Panchaveni. We ran really fast and we chanted really loud and ecstatically. And here we are at Panchaveni.
What are the 5 rivers that make it punch?
The
Yeah.
5 rivers that make it Panch, which is situated in Uchata, the Bhagavati Ganga,
No, it's Uchahata, isn't it?
Uchahata, thank you. Bhagavati Ganga, Mandakini, Alakananda, and Saraswati, but Saraswati is hidden. Then on the western side, the Ganga meets with Bhagavati and Manasi Ganga. So those are the 5. So this place is glorious Mahaprayag.
Yeah.
Grandsire Brahma performed millions of sacrifices on the Ganga's 2 banks. If a living entity dies here, in the water, on the land, in the sky, he effortlessly takes birth in Goloka Vrindavan, Goloka Dham. So all rivers converge here. Why? To perform service. All holy rivers converge here to perform service to Gaur. This is the conclusion of Sri Vyasadeva and other omniscient sages. There is no other holy place in all the 14 planetary systems equal to this Panchaveni who serves Lord Gaur.
Didn't it seem like some of those 5 are different forms of Ganga?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
It did, flowing through different
She has different names.
parts
like
of the universe.
Bhagirati, Janadi,
So offering our obeisances to Madhvadweep, who manifested from the heart of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, we are running and chanting. And here we are in Koladweep. And before we begin our parikrama of Koladweep, I'm calling on my senior godbrother, Achyutananda Prabhu, to share something of what he heard from the Reverend Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. Can you put the live stream on him? Thank you.
They should move him.
Is he in it?
Deva Goswami,
Did I do it?
when I was
No.
staying with him, he said, this mutt, his mutt, Chaitanya Saraswat mutt, is situated in Koladweep, which is non-different from Govardhan. We do not live like the Sampradaya say they live in Radhakund, but we serve in Radhakund, that's Srivasanga, that's in Mayapur. But we live here with the cowherders in Govardhan. And then he said, there is the place of worship, but here we stay in the slum quarter. We live in the slum quarter with the cowherd boys.
I don't get it. Can you explain that?
The Radhakund is most exalted place. So we don't live there. We stay away in the village. and he called it the slum quarter.
Govardhan.
Just
Overrun by cowherd
sleep on
boys.
it, and tomorrow morning you'll get it.
So he said that Koladweep is Govardhan.
Yes.
And we asked him, what if we took stones from here? He says, yes, you can take, but there are no stones. And that's all mud. It is all clay, it's all gaseous mud. So there were no stones to take. We looked and looked and looked.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Thank
things.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
And they were
Okay,
found in
so
Europe.
once, this is Lord Varaha. This is his island, Koladweep. So
That's like Gurudev and Harmgurudev as Lord Raha.
that's why Param Gurudev in his mutt and Srila Gurudev in this mutt, Keshavji Gaudiya mutt, that's why Lord Varaha is on the altar. In our Keshavji Gaudiya mutt, he's there with Lakshmi. You know what happened once? In Satya Yuga, there was a Brahmin named Vasudev, and he lived here, where he worshipped who? Lord Varaha.
Yeah.
Lord Varaha was so pleased with his worship that he appeared before him, first as Varaha, then as Nrsinga. Upon seeing the form of Nrsinga, who protected the devotee Prahlad by killing Hiranyakashipu, the Brahmana became restless with love and began to glorify him. Pleased, the Lord again assumed his mountain-like form of Koladweep. Like a mountain, he went into the ocean, and the whole ocean split open, and then he fought with the demon, and he had the earth on his tusk.
Did Vasudeva Vipra saw that pastime?
We will hear in a minute. So, this is what Lord Varaha said about this place that we're in now. This Navadvip Dham, which is Gupta Vrindavan or hidden Vrindavan, is very dear to me. Just imagine when you hear the Bhagavatam third canto, and Varaha is so big, and the demon Hiranyaksha is so big, and he's carrying the earth on his head, and they're fighting with clubs. And then Lord Varaha says, this place Navadvip is very dear to me.
Mm-hmm.
These are higher confidential things about the sages and the incarnations.
Mm-hmm.
No other dham in the three worlds can compare to it, and all other dhams on the earth are eternally situated in their full splendor. That is, there are holy places everywhere, but they're only like partial, like Dwarka is also in Vrindavan in its fullness, in Krishna, and then a part. Like even Krishna himself is full in Vrindavan and part Krishna in Dwarka and Mathura, or Vaikuntha. So residence here easily grants the results of residing in all other holy places. In Kali Yuga, Krishna, having accepted Radha's mood and complexion, will appear as Gauranga in Sri Navadvip Dham. While performing various pastimes, he will propagate the chanting of the holy name, and in that way, he'll distribute love of God. You will take birth at that time and receive the fortune of beholding those pastimes.
Varaha told that to who?
To Vasudeva Vipra.
Yeah.
For now, however, keep this secret. With these words, Sri Koladev disappeared, and Vasudeva Vipra continued to worship the Lord, but there's no information who he became.
Really?
At least not on this page.
Well, he became a statue at the gate of Devananda Gauri Mat, we know that. Yeah, you can see him just by going to the gate of Devananda Gauri Mat.
Yes. So not only is Koladweep not different from Govardhan, but as Gurudev mentioned the other day, because there's 9 islands and 12 forests, some have to double up. So Koladweep is not only Govardhan, but it's also Bahulavan.
Oh.
Bahulavan is in the northern part, and the place of Rasa Leela of Sridham Vrindavan is in the southern part. Another thing about Koladweep is it's Aparad Bhanjan. Bhanjan. Aparad Bhanjan Kulia. That means that this place, Mahaprabhu was here, and he forgave so many offenders when they came to him. Thousands of people accompanied him as he passed through the places of this island. He finally arrived at Vijayavachaspasi's house in Vijayanagar, and the crowds were so great that for 7 days Mahaprabhu stayed at Madhavadasa's house in Kulia. While he was there, he delivered Gopal Chapel, you know that one, who offended who? Shivas Thakur, who was also a resident of Kulia.
Isn't he the one that like put the little Kali Puja tray outside his door and said, "Look at him, he's bogus"?
Could be. Well, who's the one who offended?
Devananda Pandit. He was.
That's right. Devananda Pandit offended Srivas, and Gopal Chapel
Also did.
he offended Haridas Thakur.
Oh.
Because there was a whole discussion about what can the holy name do.
Oh.
And he said, well, if the holy name can do what Haridas Thakur says it can do,
Okay.
let my nose fall off, so it did. And he became a leper. But he was delivered here at Aparad Bhanjan Kulia.
So go if it's
Huh?
it's Aparad Bhanjan Kulia. Does that mean it's
Actually,
because we're in Govardhan, Sravakund is where Sravi apologizes.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday we were at Sarabikund. Yeah, where
That's where Survey took Indra.
Indra apologized, so.
I'm just saying because Gurudev's favorite place, one of his favorite places was Sravakund. He rebuilt it. And
Right.
Even in 2010, even in his not 2010.
So Vasanti's saying that one of Gurudev's favorite places in Braj is Sarabikund, where Indra was excused.
So
Is Sarabikund in Govardhan?
Yes.
Well, there you have it.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking.
Very good. Good logic.
Well, go Droom, go Verdun.
Is this
Go figure.
What, Lalita?
Is that Kund near Bhakti Raksh, actually the Shri Maharaj's mat?
Which Kund?
The one where you get forgiven of all your apparatus.
In Kulia?
Yeah.
Achudananda?
There's a Kund.
She's asking.
That's Govinda Kund, the one in front of Shiramash's mat. I mean, that's what they call it.
Oh, right. And Govinda Kund is.
I'm sure he put a lot of holy places in that water by chanting his bhajan.
Wow.
You could probably trust Shiramaj on that.
Wow. That sounds great.
But it's called Govinda Kund.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sri Maharaj would say that there were Rasalilas, he would here and here and here, he went like that. Oh, Rasalilas all over.
Oh, so actually there was another one. Actually, now I'm saying it was Gopal Chakravarti. Gopal Chakravarti was a government tax collector who worked under Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdara.
Yeah.
And he was highly scholarly and very beautiful. So it seems like he was the one who offended Haridas, because one day the royal priest Balaram Pandit went to Srila Haridas Thakur to the royal court of the Hiranya and Govardhan. And Haridas Thakur proceeded to glorify the holy name, saying, what to speak of uttering one pure name, the utterance of one semblance of the name, spoken to indicate something else, can easily bestow liberation. So pure chanting of the holy name awards Krishna prema. So he said that he's the one who said my nose is full of. So we'll get all the offenders straight. There was Gopal Chakravarti,
Yeah.
who offended Srila Haridas Thakur.
In the court of
Gopal Chapo put the
Kali Puja train.
Kali Puja tray for Srivas Thakur, and Devananda didn't stop his students for throwing Srivas Thakur, same Srivas Thakur, out into the street when he was exhibiting ecstatic symptoms from hearing Bhagavatam, 10th canto.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got it straight.
No one meditate on any of these people. They're all operatives.
Well, they all got delivered though.
Maybe it has an opposite
Meditate.
effect.
Meditate on the person that, like Srivas Thakur, who's like,
Meditate on the people who they offended.
when that happened, he was just like, oh yes, look, now you see the real me.
But whatever became of Gopal Chakravarti, did he ever get rectified? Didn't he like eventually go back to Haridas Thakur and say, dude, I'm sorry. Okay. See? So they're not-
And as far as Gopal Chapala goes, when he put the Durga paraphernalia outside the door of Srivas Pandit in order to defame him, and Srivas Pandit all night they were doing the kirtan in his house, and then when he opened the door in the morning and saw it, rather than trying to hide it and say, oh, people are going to think this about me, he made an announcement, look everybody, see what I do when nobody's looking. So, but what did the people think? Because Krishna's in their heart. They all said, who has done this to Srivas Thakur? So then, after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he also got leprosy for doing that. It's pretty dangerous to offend the pure devotees. So, after Mahaprabhu took sannyas and he came here to Kulia, Gopal Chapala came to him to be excused because he had leprosy. And he began to weep. And Mahaprabhu told him to beg forgiveness from Srivas Pandit. So then he fell weeping at Srivas Pandit's feet. And by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, his health returned. So it pays not to offend Vaishnavas, and it pays to beg forgiveness if we did.
And also, I guess going back to Gopal Chakravarti, it also pays not to doubt. Like, if Vaishnavas say things that sound pretty far out, you should probably just say, well, that must be true.
Like what?
Like that by chanting Harinam, all your sins can be resolved. We
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
experience of Namabas working, so we just like, wow.
We don't have experience of Namabas, period. That's
Yeah,
why we
there
don't
you
have
go,
experience of it working. Okay, so now as far as Devananda Pandit goes, you know what he did bad. But then, sometime later, he met Sri Pundarik Vijayanidhi, who is actually Radha's father, Vrishabhanu Maharaj, who mercifully gave him instructions on philosophical knowledge about the devotees, the Bhagavatam, and the Supreme Lord. Because when Mahaprabhu heard that he had committed that offense, even though he was an instructor of the Bhagavatam, Mahaprabhu said he doesn't understand one word of Bhagavatam.
Oh yeah, didn't he threaten to go tear up his Bhagavatam? Isn't that Gopal Chapel?
This is what's talking Devananda Pandit.
Okay.
So he revealed, that is Pundarik Vijayanidhi, revealed to Devananda Pandit many, many truths about Mahaprabhu and Tattva. And then when Mahaprabhu came to Kulia, again after accepting sannyas, Devananda in great humility repeatedly begged for forgiveness. And then Mahaprabhu told him also to go to Srivas Pandit. And then he approached Srivas Pandit, who's an incarnation of merciful Narada, who blessed the two sons of Kuvera to become trees and then meet Krishna face to face, and then go to Goloka Vrindavan. And Narada is the personification of mercy. So Srivas forgave his offenses and requested Mahaprabhu to show him mercy. Thus he did, and then Mahaprabhu gave him the qualification for Krishna praying. there's another one too.
More in Korea?
Yeah, there's another,
Example of an uprising?
yeah. When the teacher, Nimai Pandit, was living in Navadvip, the prominent professors and students were opposed to him, and they ridiculed his devotional mood. So for their welfare, he left Navadvip and took sannyas. See, they never get revengeful. They're always merciful. And then after that, then they repented. And then when he returned as Mahaprabhu in Kulia, after taking sannyas, they came to Madhavadasa's house. You know, he was staying there for some days. And they wept and begged for forgiveness. And then he pardoned them. And from that time, they all became devotees too. Now let's go weep to Mahaprabhu and all the devotees. Therefore, this place is called Aparada Bhanjan Pat. And now we're going to a very deep, dense forest. We're going to Praudamaya, under the banyan tree. And we're going to see Praudamaya as Bhavatarini, Kali.
That was a
So-
good face, Judy.
Huh?
That was a good face.
Thank you. So Antardvip, south of Mayapur, is the place of Vrita Shiva and Praudamaya, the protectors of the Dham. Praudamaya is Yogamaya, or Parvati. They reside here eternally, bewildering those who are opposed to the Lord, and engaging those who are favorably opposed. So if we're ever finding ourselves opposed and bewildered, let's just talk with them and pray to them. Vrita Shiva and Praudamaya. It's so personal, really, this philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although they reside in Antardvip eternally, when the larger part of Mayapur was lost in the Ganges flow, Praudamaya was worshipped by the devotees in Kulia. Today, people call this place Praudamatal, Mother Durga, Mother Yogamaya. And then Gurudev's explaining how she actually took birth along with Krishna from the womb of Mother Yasoda as his younger sister. And then, you know, Kamsa tried to kill her by dashing her against a rock, but then she flew up into the air as Durga. So this is the same Praudamaya whose place we're at today. In fact, here, like here, just let's say here, you're coming in to Praudamaya's temple, that's right here. And then here is Vrita Shiva's temple. So we go and offer, the place is called Praudamatal, but within that, there's Lord Shiva's temple, and then her temple here amongst all these banyan trees. So you go into this banyan tree area, it's all dark and windy roots. You've been there, Braj Mahaprabhu, haven't you?
I think so. Is that near where the shopping area is?
Yeah, it's in the shopping area. Okay, so here's the deity of Mahamaya,
Good memory.
Bhavatarini. You can't see her too well with her tongue out.
They actually call it Paramatala.
Yeah,
how
that's
bad the
another name is
pronunciation
Paramatala.
No, it's just a bad pronunciation of Prodhama.
Paramatala is Praudhamatala. So she's the same Yogamaya who appeared as Krishna's younger sister, as twins. She's the same Yogamaya who helps the gopis with different varieties of things in Goloka Vrindavan. And everybody accepts her as guru there in Vrindavan, yes.
You explained that Praudamaya is Yogamaya, but then in the picture it says the deity of Mahamaya.
Yes, Mahamaya is a shadow, an expansion of Yogamaya.
Right.
So, but here, Gurudev is explaining, when Krishna took birth from Mother Yasoda's womb, this same Yogamaya also appeared. So Yogamaya, like when, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where were we? We were in Samantatweep yesterday.
She's there too.
And Parvati was hearing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. So then she came to Samantatweep, and then he appeared to her. She was doing austerities. And then she said, "Oh, I'm so fallen and wretched. I didn't get your association. I have to do all this horrible work of punishing the living entities and doing all this management, and I don't have any bhajan, any time." So he said, "Oh, you're my same expansion of my Radha. You're my Yoga Maya. You're my Prauda Maya." So it's all expansions or shadows of.
So
Like in the Brahma Samhita, in one of the purports, Durga says, "I get my name and I get my qualities from the original Durga, Radha, because Dor means difficult and Ga means attainment, goal. So it's very difficult to attain Radha except by pure Raganuga Bhakti." It's explained there. It's cool. So, Yogamaya places a covering over the Lord's abodes so that those opposed to him cannot enter. And with the net of her Mahamaya, she keeps fruitive workers, dry mental speculators like myself and others away, depriving them of darshan of the Dham.
you're a dry mental speculator, Jeannie?
Unfortunately, that's how my day goes. Okay, so now we're on our way through the shopping center, chanting the holy name, on our way to the Bhajan Kuti and Samadhi of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. And here we go, we're turning to the right, then turning to the left, and going to his courtyard and to his temple. And here we are. We've reached the banyan tree under which Srila Babaji Maharaj sat and did his bhajan. And here we are. Let us roll in the dust. And then getting up, let's take the dust on our heads, eyelids, heart, and tongue.
I
Huh?
like it there. It's nice out there.
It's really nice. Yeah, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj used to reside at Surya Kund in Braj, and that's where he was performing his bhajan. Surya Kund, again, that's in Govardhan. But at the end of his life, he moved to Srinavadvip Dham, where it was his habit to loudly chant the Mahamantra. So he was recognized as the most prominent Gaudiya Vaishnava of his time. He was also acknowledged as being expert in relishing transcendental mellows and as the most perfect Vaishnava in Gaur Mandala, Braj Mandala, and Chaitra Mandala. Therefore, he has that name.
Sarvabhauma.
Sarvabhauma means what?
It means emperor.
It's the highest title that any pundit or scholar can be given.
Achyutananda Prabhu is saying Sarvabhauma is the highest title that any scholar or pundit can have.
Did you break your word?
I'm sorry?
Sarvabhauma.
Can you break your word?
Break it?
The entire, just like another title is Digvijay, one who can conquer all directions. So this is higher than Digvijay, meaning Sarvabhauma.
Bhoma means what?
Bhoma,
The world.
Earth.
the world, the entire world.
Sarva? Oh.
Like when Krishna-
Mr. Universe.
Like when Krishna comes here, he does his Bhoma Leela. This is Bhoma Vrindavan here. So, at Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's request, this great personality determined Sri Dham Mayapur as the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Bengali year, corresponding to 1895, 2 years after Mayapur Dham was located, Jagannath Babaji entered into his unmanifest pastimes. You know the stories about him, of course. How he always made sure the Dham puppies would take prasadam with him.
Even rasgullas.
Even rasagullas, he would feed them. And when he would collect money, not collect, but when people would give him donations, instead of using those donations to hold a feast for bogus brahmanas, he used it to buy rasagullas and things for the Dham animals.
John.
That's what Champak would do.
Yeah.
She's no Babaji, but she gets that much.
She's a Babajarini. So one time, the disciples of Babaji Maharaj complained to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Do you know what they told him? They complained about their guru.
Eggplant farming.
We gave up our home to learn about bhajan, but instead he's instructing us to serve Bhagavan by growing flowers and vegetables and eggplants. He's not elucidating on the meditation of Krishna's Astakaliya Leela. Please request him to train us in bhajan. So what did Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur reply? Growing tulsi, flowers, and fruits and vegetables for the service of the Lord, the deity, will purify the living entities who are afflicted with offenses. In Srila Gurudev's words, it's called agrasta, anistita. We are agrasta, anistita bhaktas, that is, unsteady bhaktas swallowed up by offenses. Swallowed. Otherwise, it's not possible to chant the pure holy name and realize the Astakaliya Lila. If unqualified person hears the confidential pastimes, then their anarthas will increase, not their bhakti. So therefore, follow your guru. And he was so old, like 140, that his eyelids drooped over his eyes. But still, he would still he could see his little puppies. There was a dog where he lived that had 6 or 7 puppies. And so when his disciples brought him Mahaprasad, he would wait for the puppies to come and then count them with his fingers because he couldn't see well. Then he let them eat from his plate. Only after they had eaten would he himself eat. So he took their prasadam. So when I pray in the morning to my different pictures, so-called pictures of the gurus, I pray to him, let me have that kind of faith in the Dham Basis, offering the incense of the flower. So, if his disciples hid the puppies, he became displeased. And he would not honor prasadam until they brought back the puppies. He said to them, you don't understand, these puppies are puppies of the Dham. They're not ordinary. And he refused to take anything without them taking first. And how did he travel? He traveled on a basket, carried on the heads of his disciples, because he was 140, he was some of the ages, but he was old. So his disciples would carry him sometimes to Mayapur, sometimes to Godrum, and he's also the one who requested Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur when he came over to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house one day, and Srila Prabhupada was there because he's his son, and he said, "You're an astrologer. Why don't you make a panchika, a calendar, of all the titis, the disappearance and appearance days of the acharyas and the Lord, so that people can especially remember them and glorify them on those days." So he did that, so it's the two of their credits that we have the calendars.
Bhakti Vinod and Jagannath?
No, Jagannath Das Babaji and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. So when he jumped up from his basket, when he arrived at Mahaprabhu's birthplace, he sang and he danced.
And they said he looked really tall, like 6 feet.
He what?
They said he also looked like he was 6 or 7 feet tall.
Oh, very tall.
Wow. And he jumped 10 to 12
And he jumped 10 to 12 feet. They only pretend to be invalid. Actually, that's confirmed by Abba Prabhupada in a purport in the 9th chapter of Adi Lila, talking about the tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his various branches. When Madhavendra Puri, whose appearance day is when?
Tomorrow, I think his disappearance is tomorrow.
Disappearance day is tomorrow. So we'll be hearing his glories tomorrow. So when he was, he seemed to be an invalid, and so he was always weeping. And one disciple said to him, "Oh Gurudev, don't weep, just meditate on the impersonal Brahman." And so Madhavendra Puri said, "Get out of here. If I see your face when I leave this world, I don't know what my destination will be." So that person actually became an offender later on to Mahaprabhu and his associates. And his other servant, who was that? Ishwar Puri. He would clean up his stool and all the dirty things, so-called dirty things, and tell him the pastimes of Krishna. So he got blessed to become the spiritual master of Mahaprabhu. Everything depends on the pleasure or displeasure of Guru.
Service mood too.
Service mood. So, Sri Jagannath...
About jumping.
You turn the thing.
We were on a morning walk in Mayapur, and there were these drainage, irrigation ditches, very wide. And before Prabhupada, I was there when we first got the land, and it would take me a running leap to get across. So we were on a morning walk with
Get across what?
our
The what?
ditch.
Irrigation
Irrigation ditches that crisscross the land for the rice paddies.
Mm.
So we were on a morning walk with Prabhupada, 10 of us, and so we came to one of these, and Prabhupada with one step went across. And we looked at him.
Vamandev.
Fine. We came there, we stopped, we're all ready to get under, maybe to give him a boost, or to be under the foot. And he just said, "Oh." And he just boom, he walked just one step and walked it.
Thank you.
Should I tell about the
What?
revolving door?
Revolving
course.
door.
Somebody,
No, turn it back on.
well, I keep pressing and it keeps going on.
Hold it. Hold it till the lights come on.
Lights went off.
Lights will go back on to hold it. Alright, here, we'll trade.
Rama. So Prabhupada and a disciple were in a big department store in New York, where there's, and they were leaving, and there's glass doors. In the middle was a revolving door, and on either side there were swinging doors. So a man gets into the revolving door with a lot of baggage, shopping bags, and Prabhupada gets in the next section behind him. And these don't go backwards, they only go forward. And so they start going around, and the man with the bag stops. And Prabhupada gets trapped in his section. And the disciple goes, "Oh my God," and he runs around, goes out the swinging door, goes out into the street, and Prabhupada's standing there with his cane. Like that. And the man with the bags is still in the revolving door section. So I said, "So how did Prabhupada get ahead of him?" He says, I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, the pure devotees have all 8 mystic powers.
Or like we're talking about rivers, Prabhupada told us about Kumbh Mela. He says there are yogis that can
Mike.
go down in one river
Mike.
and come up in another. I have seen it.
Oh,
How did he see it?
Wow.
I'm going to have to repeat that. So he said, Shuddhananda Prabhu said that Prabhupada said that some yogis can dive into one river and come out another. And he said, I have seen it. So how did he see it? Because he has all mystic powers too.
They have like 9 or 10. I think pure devotees have more than yogis.
Yeah, of course pure devotees have more powers than yogis. So, let us offer our obeisances to Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Pray to him for his mercy that we have full faith and realize the Dham. Lalita Saki.
I just wanted to make a comment that I read, I don't know which book from Bhakti Rakshana Srila Maharaj. He said that Jagannath Das Babaji, he was doing his bhajan in Govardhan, and after some time he was not feeling blissful, and he was thinking, I need to increase my bhajan, and so then he moved to Navadvip, and because he said basically that's the land of mercy, so he felt like he couldn't really perfect his bhajan until he moved to Navadvip.
And who said that?
Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj said that about Jagannath Das Babaji.
So Lalita Saki is saying that Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj said about Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj that, of course, he was already perfect, but just to show us the mercy of Navadvip. Hare Krishna, welcome, Amanda. He said that he expressed that I cannot perfect my bhajan here, too many offenses. So then at the end of his life he went to Navadvip Dham, because Navadvip is the land of mercy. So we offer our obeisances to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, beg his mercy to continue our parikrama successfully. And now we are on our way. Yes, Santi.
Sorry, and it's a little tangent, but because Chaitanya Prabhu talked about the drains, and Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj.
Wait,
Mike.
Mike.
I don't need that. Just because the Chaitanya Prabhu brought up about the drains, in Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj's mat in Vrindavan, there's a well. There's 2 actually, and Vijay Babaji, who was Bhakti Keshav Maharaj's family's guru, he would go down, in one well he went down and through the drains he came out in Navadvip, and another well he went down and he went through and he came out in Puri.
Where'd you hear that? Amazing.
From
Pastime.
Madhava Prabhu told us.
So Rasanti said that Madhava Priya Prabhu told it, who must have heard it from
Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj.
Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. So Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj was telling us about who? About one Babaji?
Yeah, Vijay.
Vijay Babaji, who is the guru of Param Gurudev, our Param Gurudev's family members.
Oh, cool.
Amazing.
Wow.
Vijay Krishna Babaji.
Vijay Krishna Babaji, thank you. So now, speaking of Babaji, we are on our way. And here we are, Hare Krishna. And here we are at Srila Gorkashore Das Babaji Maharaj's Kulia Dharmshala. And we are offering our obeisances to him, touching his lotus feet. I once did a painting of him and gave it a big painting, my first painting of him in New York, and Prabhupada offered his obeisances to him. So,
Question.
yes, question.
How, did you have a picture of him?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a
Yes, I had a picture with him. Yeah, sort of. It was very old. Yeah, There was no good pictures in those days, but we did have a picture, yes.
I heard that Srila Gaurkishore Babaji wouldn't allow anyone to photograph him while he was alive, so the only one photo they had was after he took samadhi. And
Yeah,
I heard what I heard.
he's not alive in that picture.
He's not alive in that?
Not in that.
No.
Are you sure?
That's what I
You
heard.
mean where he's sitting like that?
Heard many times.
Wow.
And every time they mentioned that he never allowed any photographs, so that photograph was after his passing. And notice, he's wearing a dhoti.
Yeah.
Now, he never wore it. I mean, he did wear a dhoti, but
Always
Babaji wore short cloth. But after a while, because the Navadvip Babajis were so corrupt, he went to Shantipur where they make the finest dhotis. And he got the finest dhotis. And of course, no.
You know, you don't even care about the people in the kitchen.
Kurta and a cane. And he'd walk around like a gentleman. So nobody could see. A bridegroom.
So Chidananda
Can't
Prabhu is,
understand the mind of the Paramount. But he didn't want to be associated with it.
yeah, Chidananda Prabhu is sharing, and Srila Gurudev also told this, because of the degraded Prakriti Sahajiya Babajis of those days, he didn't want to be associated, because he's also called Babaji, so he would dress up very opulently, just so people wouldn't connect them with him.
Okay. And this is why Bhaktisiddhanta established an order of sannyasis with saffron robes, danda, because we did every other. We did composers and authors, but we did not have a sannyas and smoke cigarettes and then wearing dress. So perhaps again, we cannot wear saffron if the sannyasis become so corrupt. If that dress becomes corrupted again, we can adapt. It's not deviation. See, the smart Brahmins say, oh, Vaishnavas should never wear red. But it's not a deviation, it is adaptation.
What?
The end.
Adaptation.
Adapting.
Yes.
Time and circumstance.
That's interesting.
So, here we are. And we are at the feet of In fact, once Gurudev was telling us back in the early 90s, thank you, Gurudev writing this song, and Gurudev said, this song is the Maha, 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 Maha mantra.
Wow.
And Gurudev was crying as he was singing it to us. So he had taken a vow not to accept any disciples. But when Sri Vimala Prasad Saraswati, now Srila Prabhupada, vowed to Thakur, the Babaji accepted Srila Prabhupada as his only initiated disciple, just like Srila Rupa Goswami accepted Jiva Goswami as his only initiated disciple. So what's the point?
Let's say that same. Leave his body.
So Dinabandhu Prabhu was comparing Jiva Goswami, if he didn't get the mercy of Rupa Goswami, when Rupa Goswami was externally angry with
Right,
him.
he was in the alligator holes.
He was living in alligator hole and eating mud also.
And the villagers told him, there's a Chota Baba that's bigger than
It's
you.
better than you.
Yeah, just not Goswami.
So similarly, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was like that.
And so then Bhaktivinoda wrote that last line in the song.
What?
Gurudev Kripa Binudya, last
Mhm.
verse.
Hmm?
Korana na hoile kanya kanya pranana rakhi bhavar.
Or pigs eat stool and then they make their own stool. So he compared honor and prestige with that. So people would disturb him to receive blessings for their material desires, like wealth and followers, sons and family. Once, to avoid such materialistic people, he went to live in an abandoned latrine in the government Dharmshala in Kulia Dharmshala.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we have to imitate them?
I'm sorry?
Do we have
Imitate? No, we can't. Because if I imitate it for a while, I'll go crazy and then make it up by going to a bakery and getting chocolate cake with eggs in it. I'll just go mad. But following the footsteps and praying to come to that. Like without a goal, you can't have a process. So if we know that this is how we want to be, then we can pray for that and at the same time do it according to our capacity. Thank you, good question. So then when the district magistrate came to know of this, he personally went to meet him with the police superintendent. So Babaji had locked the latrine door from the inside, and even though they waited for a long time, big men, police commissioner and district magistrate, still he refused to open the door. And he said, "Oh, I don't feel well, I can't open the door." They offered to construct him a beautiful hut, but he refused. Because he considered association with materialistic people to be more bad aroma than the latrine. More disgusting than the stench of excrement.
The association.
Huh?
But the association.
The association. And he entered his Nitya Lila. Gauranga, I saw you distributing books yesterday and brochures. That was so beautiful. You know what, Gauranga? Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj was so renounced from any material connection. He was living in an abandoned latrine, which we wouldn't be able to tolerate for a moment. And he even entered his Nitya Lila pastimes while staying in that latrine.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing.
Don't ever lock yourself in the bathroom.
So then,
my pants won't get, I can't get in.
by the way, Gauranga, I hear that you've been hearing Chaitanya Bhagavat every night. Is that true? From Vasanti?
Yeah, that's true.
So what we're going to do is, on Wednesday is Gaur Purnima. We're going to call on you. Huh?
Nina's birthday on Wednesday.
Oh, we're going to call on you, Gauranga, okay? And you're going to, like Lord Chaitanya and the snake.
We'll do it together.
Avaduta. Doesn't care for social etiquette.
Exactly.
So, don't touch her, just worship her. Know his undergarments? And he said, "Here, take my mercy. Give up your house." So after some days, he returned to